Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Eric May, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Global Food and Ingredients Limited. Before we introduce our speaker, a few points to note. Please submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. If you're interested in scheduling a meeting with Global Food and Ingredients, please click on the Meetings tab found in the left navigation bar. You'll be able to view the company's availability and submit a meeting request. On a final note, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome Bill Murray, Chief Financial Officer of Global Food and Ingredients Limited, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol PEASF, and also on the TSXV under the symbol PEAS. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you to OTC Markets for having us. Thank you all for joining us today to allow me to tell you about our company, which we call GFI for short. So before I get going, I'd like to draw your attention to our slide here with forward-looking information, and as well as non-IFRS measures that you may see in this presentation. So GFI, just some highlights. We are a vertically integrated farm-to-fork plant-based platform. We have 4 wholly owned plant-based ingredients processing facilities in the heart of Canada's Western Canada's agriculture regions. We also have a full suite of branded plant-based consumer products, where we have over 20 SKUs on the shelf and a few exciting ones in development as well. We have a highly invested management team with deep experience. Management own almost 55% of the shares and collectively have invested over 4 million Canadian dollars into the equity of the company. And over the last 12 months, we had sales of over 120 million Canadian dollars. I will mention all the dollars I'm going to point to here as far as our financials will be in Canadian dollars. And finally, we have a funded plan to grow our revenue and our profit margins over the course of the next few years. So I'd like to explain a little bit how our business works, our farm-to-fork business. It starts with our farm network. We have a network of over 500 farmers in Western Canada who we buy from, and we contract with these farmers to grow the crops that we need for our facilities to our specifications. When the farmer harvests the product, they bring it into our 4 processing facilities you see in the pictures here. 3 of them are in the province of Saskatchewan, and one of them is in the province of Alberta. And then we process these crops into products that we sell through 4 of our business lines. Those lines are Pea Protein Inputs, plant-based ingredients, pet food ingredients, and of course our plant-based consumer packaged goods. And I'll explain a little bit more of each of these divisions and what we do in each of them. And finally, we sell our products through our retail brands. Our brands on the consumer side are 5 Peas in Love, Bentilia, and YoFit, which I'll show you some of the products later on. And our wholesale brand is North Lily and North Lily Organic. North Lily sells its products to over 37 countries across the globe today. So what we love about our business is everything we do here at GFI is good for the earth, and it's also good for you. You may be familiar, but peas, lentils, chickpeas, and beans, in particular peas and lentils, are regenerative to the soil. What they do is they actually take nitrogen from the air and they bring it back into the soil. So these crops use far less nitrogen fertilizer than all other crops. And it also allows the farmer who plants these crops in rotation to use less chemical fertilizer the next year when they grow soybeans or they grow wheat or canola. And these products also use far less water. They can grow in very dry climate, which is why they're so prevalent in the provinces of Saskatchewan and Alberta, where it can be cold and dry. And they use far less water than all other crops. And what's also great about these products are they meet all consumer trending demands that you may see. They are all gluten-free, they are non-GMO, they are allergy-friendly, and they're packed with plant-based protein and fiber, as well as a number of other essential minerals. And very important today, all our products are sustainably and ethically produced in North America. You may have read a lot about all the alternative sources of protein that are being developed today to feed the growing population of the world over the next 20 years. What gets lost in some of these some of these disclosures or some of the press releases that you may read is the affordability factor. So peas, lentils, edible beans are the cheapest source of protein of any source of protein out there. So particularly in an inflationary time, we feel that's also very important, and it's going to be continue to be a very prevalent source of protein to feed the world's growing population for the next 50 years. At last check, the global plant-based food market was $35 billion US dollars today, and Bloomberg expects it to grow to 162 million by 2030. So that's over a 4x increase in less than a decade. So we think we're ideally positioned with our facilities that are in the heart of the growing regions of these important crops. And Canada actually is the largest exporter of peas and lentils in the entire world, with over 50% of world exports. So we're pretty excited about the next few years here at GFI. So our Pea Protein Inputs business line that I mentioned, what we do here is we sell glyphosate-free and organic yellow peas to the pea protein extraction market. Glyphosate is the chemical in Roundup. As many of you may have read, it's got a number of health concerns. It's believed to contribute to cancer, and it's widely used by farmers in North America. But many consumer products companies do not want to have any traces of glyphosate in their finished products. So what we do here is we contract with farmers to grow peas, yellow peas, without the application of glyphosate. We pay them a premium for that, and they're willing to do that. And then they deliver that product into our facility, and we have a rigorous testing program where we test the product 5 times throughout the supply chain before we deliver it to our customer. And we're able to deliver peas that test with 0.01 parts per million of glyphosate or less. So we're one of only 3 companies in Canada who do this. And Canada is only one of 2 countries in the world who supply this product. So we're ideally positioned in this market, in a growing market with very few competitors. You can see that we grew that business 140% over the last 12 months, ended June. And at July 4th, we had an order book of over 12.6 million. So we expect to see continued growth in this business going forward. And what we do here is we sell those glyphosate-free peas and organic peas to pea protein extraction companies. So what they do is they bring in the pea, they extract out the protein, and what they're left with is a pea protein isolate. And pea protein isolate is used in a growing number of food products across the globe these days, from everything from being the core ingredient to Beyond Meat, to supplements, and to other additives to granola bars and other food products. Pea protein is rapidly becoming one of the most used proteins, displacing more established plant proteins like soy, as well as whey protein. Our clients also use the starch from the pea to supply their noodle market. So it's an excellent trade flow, and we expect this to continue on for the next foreseeable future. So our plant-based ingredients division, what we do here is everything from whole ingredients. Everything is around the 4 crops that you see here: peas, lentils, chickpeas, and beans. We do a few other smaller specialty crops, but the bulk of our business would be these 4 crops. So we can sell these products in large bags to 37 different countries where we're cleaning them and doing primary processing. But if you look in the second column here, we also are growing our business of specialty ingredients here, where we're doing additional value-added processing. And that can be split peas, pea fiber, pea flour, and lentil flour, as well as chickpea flour and bean flour. And what you'll see in terms of our, the flow of these units and the crossover is these products can form the primary ingredient in our consumer products that we have on the shelf. And I'll talk a bit about more of those later, but we also have in development a non-dairy yogurt that is based on chickpeas. And we also have an egg replacement that we're excited about based on faba beans. So we expect those 2 products to be on the market within the next 12 months. So in that revenue I mentioned to you, this ingredients division was 120 million, or 87% of our business. Our pet food ingredients was 13%, and our consumer products is just getting going, was a very small part of our business. But we expect that to grow going forward as well. So our pet food ingredients business, we're pretty excited about the growth in this business unit. We started this up in May 2021 with a hire of one person because we saw the potential and we knew we wanted to get into that business. By September 2021, we had the opportunity to acquire a pet food processing facility. The seller actually went into bankruptcy because they had an issue in one of their other divisions, and this was the jewel of their portfolio. So we acquired that facility, closing it September 30th. And within a month of having that facility, we built an order book of over $14 million to various pet food manufacturers across North America. And you can see on the chart here, since we've acquired it, now that we have it operating now for 6 months, the business has been running at over $2 million a month in revenue, and we grew that 15% quarter over quarter, the revenue, by Q1 2023. So what we do here is we take chickpeas, lentils, and peas, and we grind them and we mill them in combinations according to our customers' specific specifications. And then we ship them to pet food manufacturers in North America. These primarily are companies that are making dry dog food using kibble. And the reason they like this product is because it's high in protein and other essential minerals and fiber. It adds nutrition to their final product. It's also cheaper than meat. So by adding this to their product, they're able to increase the protein or maintain the protein at a lower cost. And it's also functional with the kibble. It is very functional in making this dry kibble. And what it goes into is the grain-free dog food market. And by grain-free, that means wheat-free. It was studied several years ago that wheat causes cancer in dogs. It's harmless to humans, but there's a chemical in wheat that can cause cancer in dogs. So this is a very high growth market where a number of the premium dog food companies are moving to grain-free product, and they're using our products instead of wheat-based products. Another part about using our products that's exciting for our customers is they can then market their products as a premium product. They actually end up selling, you see these bags here on the page here, these are customers of ours. And they sell the product to the owners, the pet owners, as if it's a gourmet meal. They may position it as a lamb and lentils gourmet meal for their dogs. So it's a win-win for our customers, and it's a win for us as well. As many of you may know, this is a growing market. It grew almost 10% in 2020. And due to the large increase in pet ownership during COVID and post-COVID, pet ownership in the United States reached 70%. It's at an all-time high. So we're excited about the continued growth in this market. We're one of only a few companies in Canada supplying these customers. And we have a list of about 20 customers today, and there are 80 pet food manufacturers in North America alone. And these customers actually export their products globally. So by selling to these customers in North America, we're getting exposure to the global pet food market, which is also increasing. So what I'd like to point out here is GFI's zero waste system. So everything we do, we try to minimize waste, and we try to minimize the effect on the environment. And I'll give you an example of how these divisions fit in and how it fits into our zero waste system. So let's take peas for an example. We buy yellow peas from the farm, and the farmers will bring those into our facility in Zeelandia, Saskatchewan. And in the course of splitting those peas, we dehull the peas, and you can see to the right of the green boxes here. What comes out of that process are split peas, which are beautifully and uniformly colored, and pea hull fibers. And both of those go into the human food markets. But in that process, about 10% of the peas that come into our facility are not good enough for human consumption. They may be discolored, they may be broken, or the size may be off, but they have all the nutritional benefits of all the other peas. So what we do with those peas using our color sorters and our high-speed size sorting machines is we divert them They're still perfectly usable, so we divert them to our pet food facility. And what we do at our pet food facility is we grind and mill them up, and then you have a very nutritious blend to add to pet food ingredients. So, and then at the end of that process, what's left are about 2% of what we call screenings. And that would be the pods and some sticks that would come off the farm. And we also sell that product into the animal feed and the biomass markets. So at the end of this entire process, there is no waste, but we've also maximized value extraction throughout the process. And we've also reduced the environmental footprint of our facilities by having minimal waste. Also, we recently commissioned a pea splitter at our Zeelandia facility. It's a state-of-the-art splitting operation that uses steam as its process. So through that process, we actually recycle the water that is used to create the steam, and then it's used to also dry the peas, and it's used to heat the building. So at the end of the entire process, we have almost no waste of water. So we believe it is the most environmentally friendly facility in North America. But because of this process, we believe it also has the lowest variable operating cost. So we commissioned this a couple months ago, and we're ramping up production, and we're excited to continue growing revenue out of this facility over the coming quarters. Now our lineup of branded consumer products. YoFit, you see here on the left, is a company we acquired in February of this year. And YoFit has a lineup of high protein, low sugar, nutritious beverages, non-dairy plant-based beverages, as well as granola and health snack food bars. What stands out about YoFit is its nutritional content. You see the beverage packages there. They contain 10 grams of protein. So we think that competes very favorably against some of the other plant-based beverages out there. For example, almond milk has only 1 gram of protein. Oat milk has 2 to 3 grams of protein. And conventional dairy actually has 8 grams of protein. So this is very unique in the marketplace. And we're actually in the midst of launching these products in the US market. What you see at the bottom of that box are the retail outlets that it's available in Canada today. But we've also signed up Acosta as our broker in the United States, and we have distribution agreements to launch this early in calendar 2023. I will point out here, we did start a trial with Costco Canada. We are now in 21 stores in Eastern Canada, in Ontario and Quebec, and that's been for a couple of months now. We're hopeful that we'll be able to expand to Costco across Canada and eventually into Costco United States. And then we have Bentilia. This is a lineup of gluten-free lentil pastas. We acquired this brand in March of 2022. What's unique about these products are they are high in protein and high in fiber. But what's also very exciting about them is their taste. If anyone has tried, gluten-free pastas, it's very difficult to get a pasta that'll taste like your traditional wheat pasta. And that tends to be restricting the growth of these products. Our products taste very close to wheat pastas, but they also have exceptional nutritional profiles. So we also have another lineup in there called Bentilia 10. And this is a unique lentil pasta that is infused with 10 different vegetables. So it's an extremely nutritious meal or side dish for a family. The original Bentilia is simply one ingredient. It's red lentil flour, so extremely healthy. So we're also rolling these out in the United States market. And we're currently, you see here, we have KeHE as a distributor. We shipped our first truckload to KeHE, and we look forward to growing the sales in calendar 2023 as well. Then our final product line is 5 Peas in Love. This is a product line that we developed internally. And what these are ready to eat, heat and eat side dishes. You just have to put them in the microwave and warm them up, and you have a very nutritious, tasty side dish. Or it could be a main course for a vegan or vegetarian. And the market we're going after here is the North American consumer who knows that lentils are extremely healthy and they know they should be eating them, but they have no idea how to cook them. And unless you grew up in a household where your parents were preparing lentils taken from the countries they may have came, most people don't know how to cook a bag of dry lentils. So this will solve that problem. And lentils are well known to be an extremely nutritious alternative to many of the other traditional side dishes of potatoes or rice. So that'll be launched a bit later in calendar 2023, and we're looking forward to making this available to consumers. So our management team has over 100 years experience in this industry. I'll just highlight our CEO, David Hanna. Before he started GFI in 2018, he spent 10 years at a private grain trading business here in Canada, very similar. When he joined there, they had only 10 employees and 20 million in revenue. And over the time that he spent there as executive vice president, CFO, and corporate development, the business grew to over $800 million, and they were operating in multiple countries. And the reason David left was it was a family-owned business, and the family was content to just not grow the business anymore and pay themselves dividends. And he has many years left in him, so he started GFI, and he wanted to replicate that kind of growth, seeing the opportunity in the plant-based food sector. So we started GFI. He approached me to join as the CFO. My background is over 20 years in investment banking and private equity. I was a shareholder at one of those investment banks that I was an executive at for 7 years. We grew that capital tenfold, and I'm excited to join GFI. You can see we have a good mix of consumer products experts between Marie Amazon, the founder of YoFit, and Prashant Jairaj, who we brought on to run our Ventilia division. Prashant spent 10 years in the consumer products industry and marketing, including Weston Foods and Red Bull. And then we have two operation experts. Michael Musa came from Viterra, one of the biggest agri-food businesses in the world. And Jason Phillips joined GFI to run our operations. He worked with David at that private company. And then Jaime Rueda, who's based in North Carolina, runs our U.S. operation. Has also over 20 years experience in this industry and has also worked with David in the past. So that's allowed us to hit the ground running and why we were able to grow so fast. I just want to point out that the people on this page are the ones that have invested over $4 million of equity into the business. So financial summary, our filings are available on CEDAR and our website, and our year end is March 31st. So I'll do a quick recap. If you look at the revenue, fiscal 2022, we did 124 million of sales. That was a growth of over 100% from the year before. In our first quarter ended June, we reported revenue of 30 million, which is on track for similar to last year. But that is partially because we're focused this year on growing our margins. We got the business to scale now. We're going to continue to grow, but not at the same rate we grew in the past. We're more focused on growing our gross profit and eventually our EBITDA. And we're starting to see the results of that. If you look at the adjusted gross profit here, we did 7.6 million of gross profit in all of 2022. And in the first quarter of ended June 30th, we did almost 3 million of gross profit. So we're on track to exceed last year's complete gross profit. I'll highlight that our business is backed by significant assets. We had over 63 million of assets at June 30th, and that includes 26 million of fixed assets, which are the facilities that you saw in the pictures. So we're a real business backed by real assets. I'll give you capitalization. We mentioned the symbol. Our last trading price was 60 cents Canadian. We have a 66 million shares outstanding. So that would give us a market capitalization of only 39 million Canadian dollars, which is actually under 30 million US dollars. Ownership, management, I mentioned 55%. We have a family office who've invested from the beginning in our business. They've invested in 3 financing rounds, named 35 Oak. They own 16%. And other non-management directors actually have invested in the company as well and own 7%. So we have a management team that are highly aligned with investors, and the company's raised over 20 million of equity to date. So that's the presentation. I'll start addressing some questions here in the last 5 minutes. I'll read the first question. Any stats on the projected demand growth for pea proteins? There are reports out there that you could read the headlines. I don't have the statistic handy with me, but pea protein isolate is a global market and it's growing in many areas. So I invite you to search. You will find some markets and third-party research reports that'll show the forecast for them. What are your competitive advantages, and do you have any IP protection? Our advantages are, I'd say, the experience of our management team, the location of our facilities, the people that run those facilities, and IP protection. We do have a patent application on one of our consumer products, but in this CPG space, execution and marketing are just as important. So it comes down to the management team being extremely experienced, having done this before in other capacities, and knowing how to execute with the facilities we have. We believe also being public will give us an advantage in terms of cost of capital against relative to some private companies, and present us with opportunities to continue to make accretive acquisitions. In our last fiscal year, we made 3 acquisitions: the pet food and the 2 consumer products businesses. And we believe the synergies will start to come out over the course of the next year or 2. Great year. Next question: great year or year revenue growth. Are you providing any guidance for fiscal 2023? We are not providing guidance at this time. We will report our second quarter results in the last week of November, and our third quarter results would be out by the end of February. Next question: what are the distribution channels for your branded products? So we are selling both online and also into the brick and mortar retail outlets. We have, as I mentioned, KeHE as a distributor for the pasta. We have UNFI as a distributor for some of the YoFit products. We have multiple distributors in the Canadian market, and each of them will use their own brokers as the sales agents. So we have a pretty lean staff in the consumer products division. We don't intend on hiring 20 salespeople to market the products. We're focused on a variable cost model where we're using third-party agents to sell the product, and we're supporting that with our distribution and warehouse of those products. So I think that's all the questions for now. Give it a minute, see if there are any other questions. No, don't see any other questions coming in. Thank you all for your time, and I'll point out that our contact information is on our website, and we look forward to providing updates in the future. So thank you all for your time today, and have a good rest of the day.